Okay.
Hello everyone!
Hello, we are live.
How are you?
um,
Yeah, I hear
yeah, we hear it. And please let us know on Discord how you're doing, because that's where we're gonna keep an eye.
We're on Discord!
On Discord, yeah. So valiant.c/Discord and you'll find us.
Who are you?
I'm Anna, still. And who are you?
And I continue to be Laura.
Mhm.
Yeah, and how are you today?
I'm good, a bit tired, but otherwise I'm fine. I do happen to know that you're a little bit stressed today.
I am super stressed, but it's a good kind of stress because one of the games that we are doing is called this beautiful game called Zestrea. So this
We
is
have an open one that we can show.
oh, thank you. Yes. So very good idea.
Covering the entire camera, that's good practice, right? That's how you do it. So
You can show it and I can say what up with it. So here's the deal. In last year, some friends of mine had this absolutely insanely nice board game idea. And I was born and raised in Romania before I moved to Sweden, so that's why I got to be involved in this situation. Anyhow, they came to me and just grabbed me and said, no, you have to play this game with us because you'll understand it and you'll resonate with it. And I said, well, okay. And I went and I fell in love the minute I started to play Zestrea. And what Zestrea is it's a board game. And it's a board game that's inspired by crazy Romanian traditions, wedding traditions. So you essentially, in this game, you play as boyars, which is Romanian nobles that used to be the guardians of the village. And as a boyar, you have your peasants and you have your land, and your peasants are working the land and they produce Zestrea every turn. But every turn they might produce babies. And the point of the game is to survive hard times, which can be, for example, floods or communism or stuff like that. And at the end of the game, the boyar with the most Zestrea wins. And last year we did a Kickstarter campaign for this beautiful game, and it is very beautiful, I would say.
is.
Art by Maria Sorbucan, who has been working with me yesterday until midnight and today since this morning to prepare shipping lists and other things. And I'd like to say to Maria this. And to Alex as well. And to Horatio, who's this is the team, and today is Horatio's birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
So last year we had a Kickstarter campaign, and it was our first ever Kickstarter campaign. So I didn't know what to expect, but the Too Long Did Not Read version was that we reached 220% of our founding goal. What?
That's super cool.
And we used those money to print the first commercial batch, 1,000 copies in English and 1,000 copies in Romanian. And last week we got the games. Yay! And so we set it on Facebook.
Do it like that so you can see it's even bigger. Look at that game.
We got the games, which means that starting last week, and since we started to post on a very, very, very vibrant and nice Zestrea Facebook page and community, we love you so much. It's been super crazy, super crazy. And right now, to this day, from the 2,000 copies we have left of Zestrea, we have the stock is running. And let's say we are talking about under 200 copies today.
So if you want a copy, you better be quick, because we're literally running out of them. Might not look like it, we still have some in the office, but
Those are all sold. I'm very sorry.
yeah.
Those are for the people in Sweden that ordered it, and they are absolutely welcome to come grab them at our office, or they will be shipped to you. Yeah, so if you're interested or curious, go check out zestrea.net. And there's a shop there if you like it, like buy it super quick. So that's and I'm
So it's a good kind of stress then.
yes, but I have been working quite a lot, and my hand is like Excel files and inventories and shipping addresses and numbers and credit spends and packers were filled and dealing with shipping companies and stuff like that. So thank you for your patience. Yeah, so today, Pendula Swing,
Pendula
right?
Swing, yeah. So let's switch back. And hi to you in the chat.
Eh.
Thanks for joining us. Once this is on Yard, it's nice to have you here. And everyone else watching.
Thank you
Drop
so
us a line
much.
somewhere so we know that you're there. But yeah, we're playing Pendula Swing today. And we actually have a topic for today's stream.
Yes, last time we streamed, we were talking about fun and what the beep is fun anyhow. And we ended up closing the last stream on a quite serious note, and started to talk about the value of games and why are we making games to begin with.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the topic of this stream today, because we have like our vision or our motto, which is that we make meaningful games that promote the underrepresented, instill hope, and favor the journey. And we want to talk like about what that actually means, and what kind of games we have made, what we will make in the future, and like in a perfect world, what kind of games would we like to make, both individually and as a company.
But we can take our motto one by one. So meaningful games that promote the underrepresented, instill hope, and favor the journey. What is meaningful anyhow? Like the first game that we ever worked together on and published is Pendula Swing. Why is Pendula Swing a meaningful game? And what is meaningful?
I guess I can start. Sort of the point of Pendula Swing is to talk about prejudice, about racism, about how we treat each other and how that actually affects people's realities. So sort of the point of the game is to take stereotypes that you might have about elves, dwarves, orcs, and so on, and sort of turn it on its head, and through that talk about the prejudice that we have against each other, stereotypes that we have like about other people in our world. So the way it's supposed to be meaningful is like that actually talks about a real world issue. It wants to like I want it to be fun and like poke fun at stereotypes at the same time, but like the meaningfulness comes from actually talking about experiences that people in our world are subjected to or like have gone through in our world. So it ties into a real world issue basically.
So in Pendula Swing, spoiler alert, essentially the society is like the orcs and elves and humans and dwarves and goblins are living together now in a post-hero / goblins and orc kind of world. And
a post-hero world. I actually like that. We should have had that in our marketing. Post-hero world.
And where the goblins are stereotypes for.
So it's not one-to-one. It's not like goblins are a certain ethnicity or.
But you
culture.
had inspirations.
I had
designing.
some inspirations.
Yeah.
Like it's more the way people talk about these creatures. So for example, the way we sometimes talk about. I don't want to point out certain, but like there are people in the world we might say about like, oh, they don't want to work, they don't want to, they just want to steal, and like, you know, that kind of, you might have certain cultures that come to mind when I say that, and that's sort of like the preconceptions people have about goblins. But you know, they're just people like everyone else. They do want to work. It's just like with all of these stereotypes and so on against them, it's very hard for them to live normal lives in their society.
So the goblins are kind of like the beggars of today's world, more or less, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for example, like there are inspirations, like the way that orcs really put emphasis on education and so on, but maybe have a different perception on the world. Part of that is borrowed from Jewish culture, like actually, you know, having the conversations, really like exploring things and really questioning everything. So like there are inspirations, but that doesn't mean that it's one-to-one.
But like history belongs to the victors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a lot of what's happening in Pendula Swing with the education system and the orcs, for example. That's actually one of the reasons why we have an academic district and why the orcs are protesting in that academic district because, yeah, the way history is told belongs to the victors.
Exactly.
So
We have keep an eye on the chat. So
we see you.
yeah.
If you have questions, just ask.
Yes. We're trying to keep an eye on the chats beside the streams, but also like we said on Discord, valiant.se/Discord.
Come to Discord. So we spoke about meaningful, promote the underrepresented. So I can take this one because it's one of my most favorite subjects in our Pendula Swing. I really dig books and movies and games that explore the idea of wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think wisdom is a thing that you may it's not a guarantee, but you get with age, as you age. So I associate old age with wisdom, and I hope, like, my wish, I guess, in life is to become wise, to die a wise person. And it has a lot to do with that, but like some of my favorite books and movies have very strong protagonists who are old ladies. Like, for example, I'm a sucker for the Expanse series, and my most favorite characters is Avesarala, who is an old lady of Indian descent that actually single-handedly runs humanity in that Expanse universe as a politician. And she originally is somebody who like works behind the scenes, but ultimately she is forced to get the power because it is what it is, and she's extremely wise. And typically when you look at games, you either play the super hot stud that kills everything, or you play the super hot lady that kills everything.
Yeah,
and
usually.
it's
For
rare. It's rare that you get to play somebody who is old and potentially wise. Through your own actions, you can make really wise and choose wise attitudes and actions from her. So, and we want to continue to make games that tell stories of people and role models that are not normally said in games. And by that, we don't mean that we will always make games that have all people as protagonists. But we are extremely intrigued of games that have unusual and not that much tackled subjects. Like, for example, we might make games with gypsy protagonists, or with Eastern European protagonists, for example, or like that. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you're doing great. And yeah, thank you for, we really want to build a wonderful Discord community, so I'm happy that you feel it is. We just want to have even more cool people to talk to, and so we invite everyone, just come talk to us. It really helps us as well to see that people see how people interact with our games and so on. It can get a little bit lonely being an indie developer, and knowing that at least someone has tried your game and at least appreciates something that you're doing, it really helps a lot. So really a big thank you to everyone who has interacted with us in any way and giving us encouragement.
Your voice matters so much.
It does.
And especially if you have had interactions with games especially, and you felt that something is missing, that you're not represented, that your story has never even been touched upon, we really want to hear from you. And Matsetes and Yard, thank you so much for chatting with us on YouTube. It's so nice to have some interactions while we stream. Hopefully this will become more and better.
Yeah. We're gonna keep going.
So we spoke about meaningful, we spoke about promoting the underrepresented. How about instilling hope?
Yeah, that is really a big one as well. And so many games are about oh, it's war, it's the post-apocalypse, and everyone is dead, and everything is awful, and everyone is killing each other. And we're we're not saying that there is no place for that sort of narrative, but it's not necessarily the story we want to tell. I mean, the world is pretty dark and heavy and tough as it is. Like, we don't want to add even more on that. So we're more in favor of just like imagining a world that could be better, or a way that we can reach to a better place, and also hopefully without killing everyone you see along the way. So that's really like a goal that we have. Like, we want to tell another type of story that's more hopeful, that like, so we can imagine that the world can actually be better somehow. And how you get there, that might be different from story to story and from game to game, but still.
Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for utopias, and I'm a huge sucker for sci-fi, and I'm especially a huge sucker for sci-fi utopias, which are extremely rare to find.
Star Trek.
Star Trek is a wonderful example. In Star Trek, the society of Star Trek doesn't have money, and everyone is well taken care of, and everyone is encouraged to follow their dreams. And I think it's a wonderful exercise of imagination. And also, for example, when you think about what happened when we managed to get to the moon, people ask, okay, what if we were to go to the moon? And our whole world was inspired and influenced by that, and we managed to go to the moon. But typically, books and movies and games, especially games, no, actually, especially everything, there's this idea that optimism and hope is boring or isn't dramatic enough, and I actually think that's like very not true. It's actually very entertaining and very nice to think about what if the world might be better. What if we do advance? And actually, if you think about it historically, don't even get me started on the state of the world right now and what's happening, and COVID and what's happening in America. And please stay safe.
Yeah.
But evolution is never even mathematically a straight line, like always better. It's like mathematical sinus function. So it goes ups and down and up and down and up and down. But generally, like if you look on a grand scheme of things, you see that it goes up.
Yeah.
And we have been writing about zombies and apocalypse and wars and dystopias and stuff like that for a very long time, and made movies about it and made games about it. But the reality is that there are fewer wars, there are fewer people who starve, and the world is going better. Definitely not straightforwardly better, definitely not you can definitely have a lot of reasons to be pessimistic nowadays, but like we can totally speak and imagine what if the world would be better. Yeah, and we really want to make games about that, to let you ask what if it's gonna be good.
Yeah. And like, if we never see that, it's hard to lose faith, lose hope, and think that okay, the world is going south very quickly. But it's not necessarily the case, and that's why we need positive stories as well. We need to listen to, unfortunately late, Hans Rosling and stuff like that. Like, what does the world actually look like? And I think that's the only way, honestly, to stay sane and to keep fighting, to remember all the progress that we have made, but also how precious that is. Like, all the progress that we have made. In terms of the rights for women and
European Union,
and stuff like that. Like,
the right to travel freely and work within European countries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's
like,
historical.
And we take so much for granted as well. Like, look at vaccines, for example. Like, so many people nowadays are against vaccines. I think people have forgotten the horrors that were the world before vaccines and before antibiotics and so on. Like, we don't remember what polio was like, or syphilis, or whatever. Like, and we can't forget. We need to. That's why history, in my opinion, is so important. I'm a history geek. But like, that's when you start understanding, we start seeing patterns, and you start realizing it. Especially for women, especially for LGBTQ folks, especially for minorities. There has never been a time that's better than this. We have a lot to do still, don't get me wrong. But like, we have made great progress, and we have to keep going. And if we think that, oh no, the world is just gonna end, it's just gonna be the post-apocalypse soon, then we won't keep fighting, because we won't believe in something. We don't see the better world that we could achieve. So I think it's important to imagine that.
And we want to normalize in games things that we wish to see and normalize in real life. Like, for example, we want to absolutely normalize the LGBTQ community. Because, like, seriously, it's no one's business but your own. Who exactly do you choose to, love and have relationships with?
Yeah.
And
Or
I don't.
if you want to have a beard and pink hair and wear a
Why
dress,
not?
that's up to you. No one should,
You're beautiful, by the way.
I mean, I'm living my best life here. I've always wanted a beard. Like, I think it's so unfair that it's
So-
mostly men that have beards and usually not women.
Okay, so in a few streams, Anna will have a beard.
Well, I'm not wearing one on the inside. I've always had like a mental beard. But
We can totally have a beard on the outside.
I'm working on it. Trust me.
But even in the future games that we're going to make, we want to normalize the idea of lack of traffic, but a lot of parks, green energy, people who actually recycle, and that kind of culture. So that's the instill hope part. How about favor the journey?
Yeah, so one thing also that we want to do is make games that are sort of like you're in it for the journey. It's not just a destination, and it's not about competing. It's not about besting someone else. It's not about winning. It's not about being on top. It's about learning something. It's about getting a new experience and reflecting on something in our world or the world that we have created.
Ryan, so the spoiler alert, if you're playing Pendula Swing, you have multiple ways of getting drunk. You can go to a bar like a normal person, but the problem with the bar is that the drinks cost money, right? But you can also go to your late uncle's, funeral and drink for free.
Yep, there's a lot of drinks here.
Because speaking of promoting the underrepresented and being inspired by stereotypes and trying to tell some stories, the dwarves in this in Pendula Swing are inspired by the Irish culture, right?
Irish, partly German, and so on. A little bit Italian. So like, or rather like the way, especially the way like they are treated by society. So something that actually happened during the Prohibition and so on. Some cultures that were moving into the United States or had recently moved to the United States were sort of affected much more harshly by the Prohibition than others because like there is more of a drinking culture in the culture to begin with, and that goes for the Irish and for the German especially. It's like people that newly immigrated from those countries were like hit harder, and like people were more like just against them as people because like they like to drink still, and that was now prohibited. So in this sort of way, like the laws in Pendula as well affect some of these fantasy races more than others. If that makes sense.
There is an example in one of the quests which requires a certain height in order to be able to vote, right? There is actually a legal aspect in Pendula Swing for which the goblins cannot vote, and that's why the goblins are protesting. My God, I'm doing so many spoilers, but this is genius. This is a genius story that Anna wrote.
But this is also sorry for jumping in, but it's so what actually was the case, at least in Sweden, I guess a lot of other countries as well. Before everyone could vote, or all adult people, almost all adult people, there were laws that like technically most people could vote, but you had like there are so many, like you had to pay taxes this amount, you could not have any like outstanding taxes they hadn't paid, you had to have done military service, I believe, you had to be like 25 years of age. It was a lot of rules before you could actually go vote. So basically just old rich men could vote technically, and it's sort of the same in Pendula. Like technically goblins can vote, but like they live such short lives, so like the age limit, for example, affects them much more than the other people in society. Like elves live for hundreds of years, goblins just live like 40, maybe 50 if they're lucky. So of course, like if you can only vote when you're 20 something, that's half a lifetime for a goblin, whereas like not that much for an elf. So that's why like that's sort of how I see society as well. Like the laws might be technically the same for everyone, but some people are going to be more affected by it. And also some laws just like, or some law enforcement folks apprehend people from certain cultures more than others, for example. So like the law, while it should be equal to everyone, it isn't, and that's what we want to show in Canada as well.
It's like people would like start to protest for people of certain color being treated in a certain way by the police, which is happening in certain parts of the world right now, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, me neither. Yeah, but no, I think both of us are trying to kind of stay away from the news because we are like Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
And we are with you.
Black Lives Matter.
And yeah, stay safe. What are we doing next time?
So next time we were hoping to talk a little bit more about our journey as a company and our personal journeys as game developers. So if for then you have any questions about like, I don't know, how to get into games or how to become indie or how to, I don't know, why we like hedgehogs so much and goats and vampires or like why we like dragons or whatever, just let us know. Focus on Discord and we will answer your questions.
We are pretty much almost always on Discord. I mean, specifically Anna is, because I'm in Excel and other economical ballet. But we absolutely very much welcome your questions, and we were actually exploring the idea maybe in the future, if you like these streams, that we invite some of our game developer friends around to discuss issues and problems and things such as how do you become a game designer, how do you start to learn coding in Unity, how difficult or easy it is to become an indie and to sell games, how to find a publisher. and
if anyone could tell us that, let us know. Just kidding.
Yard, we have been around since late 2017.
Yes.
Yeah. But both Anna and I have been making games like combined for
29 years, almost 30 years
almost
combined.
30 years.
She's the veteran.
Yeah, but we can tell you more about this the next time.
So stay tuned.
By the way, when is next time? Are we announcing here now?
Next Tuesday, if everything goes according to plan, but stay tuned on social media and we'll let you know.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is we want to stream on Tuesdays and on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And we are recording all the streams. We haven't been speaking much about goats though today.
So why? About what goat? About that goat?
But poor goat. Like seriously.
I forgot the goat. No, but if you're wondering about like the name of the stream, it's finding the goat for us is sort of a way to say we're really looking for like our voice and like the it factor in our games and in how we talk to you folks. So it's kind of this is a journey of exploration. We want to go that journey together with you. We want to because like any good indie devs, we have been good indie devs, meaning that we have been very, very shy about streaming, about talking about our games and our journey and our struggles and everything. So if you followed us on Twitter or Facebook or even on Discord to some extent, our communication was 50% off, 100% boring. Yeah, it's been a lot of like just like, hi, buy our game, it looks like this, but we realized it's not very compelling and we're not really answering any questions, we're not really like engaging, like we want to have conversation, not just shouting at you.
By the way, hey, buy our games, we have 4 of them that you can buy right now. It's Pendula Swing, it's Kaleidocraft, which is in early access, don't buy that one yet, please.
Yeah, but let us know how we can be better. Please.
It's Midwinter, which is a super cute and cozy Swedish adventure, point-and-click adventure games inspired by the Swedish folklore, and Zestrea. And if you want to buy Zestrea, I again urge you to do it now or the next time we play.
Get them while they...
Get them while they're hot and
while they're still around.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.